Funding for Shaperless is provided by
Squarespace, the sponsor of today's video. Well, I was gonna wait for the Mario Kart World Direct and see if I could make a video on the new information shown off there, and then they didn't show off that much new information. Wow, missions are coming back in the open world. That's pretty cool, but also, what do you want me to say? Okay, battle mode is coming back, and it is just repurposed race courses again, but they're actually sectioning them off and making them into legit closed battle arenas, similar to how they were in Mario Kart Tour. This is not a Wii U Mario Kart 8 battle mode situation. We're good. This is acceptable, and hey, that one lava course looks like Big Donut. Maybe it is Big Donut. I'm not even a huge Big Donut fan, but it's nice to have some returning retro. Okay, that is officially all the information I feel the need to comment on from the Direct. This really could have been an email. But with that said, I have been thinking a lot about the selection of retro courses that were basically already revealed in footage of the game for the past few weeks. We have officially gotten confirmation of 14 returning courses from previous games. Not in even 16 to complement 16 brand new courses like every other Mario Kart game. Okay, that's not bothering me at all. Honestly, it's kind of weird because according to the selection on the Mario Wiki, 2 of the courses are just repeats of Crown City and Peach Stadium. Apparently the layouts will be different in these repeated versions of the course, kind of like courses in Mario Kart Tour. But I don't know, man, it's still a little bit lame to me. It feels like they just ran out of time to include 2 more retros. Just throw in Baby Park. You could have done that in an afternoon. That's the kind of course that should be required for every Mario Kart game. Oh well, the new courses look great. I'm particularly very interested in Crown City, DK Spaceport, Starview Peak, Faraway Oasis, and Boo Cinema. Because, you know, it's absolute cinema and all that. But I haven't really been looking at too much footage of these new courses in action during the gameplay demos, because I want to be a bit surprised by how they play. With that said, I've kind of been obsessively watching footage of the upcoming retro selections. And I have some thoughts about them. Not only how good the updates look to some of these classic courses, but also whether I think these courses should have come back at all. Some of them I'm a little baffled by, not gonna lie. So I thought it would be fun to do a very informal ranking of how excited I am by each of these remakes, based on the footage we've seen of them. The order might surprise you, who knows? So first off, what do I think is the most baffling pick that looks boring as shit among these retros? By a landslide, the answer is SNES Mario Circuit. A freakish hybrid of Mario Circuits 1, 2, and 3. Are you kidding me? 3 again? What is wrong with you people? I think Mario Circuit 4 is officially the new Toad's Factory. Or rather, I guess it was the original Toad's Factory. I seriously don't understand why they refuse to ever bring this one back. Just Mario Circuit 4 alone would have been a fine choice. Why the hell would I ever want to play Mario Circuit 3 again for the rest of my life? What is your problem? Okay, well, maybe they made this hybrid course really awesome looking. No, of course not! It looks boring as shit! They even took out the glider ramp on the big jump in Mario Circuit 2. What even possesses you people to do that? And we're gonna get into each of these courses' placement in a cup later, but I do just want to ask right now, how is this the second course of the Special Cup? The Special Cup! The amount of hubris on display here is truly astounding. I just have nothing else to say, because there is nothing to say about the Mario Circuits. I can't believe Nintendo dropped the coolest SNES remake at the very end of the Booster Course Pass, and then just dipped in terms of giving us another one. Okay, moving on to the second most baffling course decision. I don't get this at all. Why in the halibut do we need Moo Moo Meadows again? Never in a million years did I think this would become the equivalent of what Baby Park should be. The course that we just can't get rid of. Okay, I guess that's Mario Circuit 3 actually, but you know, this is the other one. I know people love Moo Moo Meadows, and I do too, but more so for the vibe, you know? Not so much for the track design, which I haven't really seen a lot of footage of, but it seems kind of unchanged compared to the version we just got for 11 years. That's the thing that really gets me. Re-adding a course that only made it in because of the Booster Course Pass? I'm still not a fan of that, but it's more excusable. But again, we spent 11 years with this course, and it's not even Baby Park! The solution here is so obvious too. Just bring back Moo Moo Farm. We haven't seen it since DS, and it could really use some updates to modernize it. I am not excited to play on Meadows again, to be honest. I mean, I think our Cal quota is covered with a playable racer. We really don't need this. Next up is DS Desert Hills. I'm gonna keep this brief. I do not care for DS Desert Hills. I don't know many people that do either. How this course manages to keep weaseling its way into games that it has no business being a part of is beyond me. I guess it suits the theme of an interconnected world to just have a desert with a bunch of hills somewhere. Sure, that makes sense. But I feel like you could say that about practically any desert course in this series. Bring back Calamari again, I don't know. Following the train in free roam would have been cool. Here, I guess they added conch doors and a tunnel section or something. Ooh. Who cares though? It's Desert Hills, man. I want to go to bed. Next up is SNES Koopa Beach, a homunculi combination of 1 and 2, much like how the Mario circuits were combined. I have not seen any footage of this, but I do feel like it was a much more acceptable SNES choice than the other one. I'm kind of interested to see a modern remake of this with the sinkholes in the water and everything. It's probably still going to be very flat and not all that interesting given the standards Mario Circuit is adhering to, but you know what? Color me mildly intrigued. I'm sure this course would rank lower if I actually got to see it in action though. Next on the docket, DK Pass, and it looks fine. It looks exactly as fine as it has looked in every other Mario Kart game it appeared in. The music sounds lovely as usual, but I just don't really see the appeal of this course. They definitely tried to give it more of a snowboarding vibe instead of being a pleasant ski resort, but I don't get the reasoning behind that. DK Summit is your snowboarding course, so adding this big epic looking ramp and snowboarding Shy Guys, including one in the thumbnail, I mean, you're just kind of setting yourself up for unnecessary comparisons to Summit doing that. This is absolutely one of the cases where I wish they would have saved Summit for this game instead of including it in the Booster Course Pass. I feel like scaling that epic mountain with your friends in free roam would have been a lot cooler. Same goes for DK Mountain actually. Oh well, Pass is a fine enough choice that people like or whatever, but it's definitely looking to be one of the lesser retro selections here for me. Also, did they take out the snowmen? They made a snowman a playable racer, but they took snowmen out of the course? That doesn't make sense. That's like the thing DK Pass had going for it. Alright. Oh cool, Chaco Mountain is back again, and what the hell is this? Look, I love when courses are reimagined a bit, and Chaco Mountain was a prime suspect to be one of them, considering we just got a faithful version of it in the Booster Course Pass. But this does not look all that appealing. They industrialized my boy. I guess that's kind of an interesting change, but now the base doesn't even resemble chocolate at all. Like, that was the whole point. I feel like this would have been a lot more acceptable and potentially interesting if they made this sort of change to the SNES Chaco Island courses. You know, they look like shit anyway, so you might as well reimagine them. I just don't care for taking one of the most visually appealing courses and turning it into this. But it's different, I'll give it that. The charging chucks and their footballs look like cool hazards, and the stadium vibes are neat. Even though we have a neater looking dirt bike stadium from the N64. Seriously, why did they bring this one back? Just stick with the SNES Chaco Island courses, which are apparently being adapted anyway in the Grand Prix lead up to this course. And then have Moo Moo Farm be your other N64 track. I don't know, man. This is just weird. I'm intrigued by the extreme makeover of a classic course,
but I'm not happy about it.
Next up is... don't hate me for having this one so high. Sky High Sunday. I know this course kinda lives in infamy for a lot of players. I really do get it. I personally think this is an insane choice as the only course from 8 or Tour to return. I mean, you couldn't exactly fit the entirety of Yoshi's Island or a giant bathroom into this world map. But like, a ninja dojo? You could've added that. Or even a Christmas village. How exactly does the ice cream land make more sense to be a part of this world? Anyway, once the initial shock and confusion wore off, I started looking at this course more, and it looks finished. It really feels like they knew Sky High Sunday wasn't that compelling from a gameplay perspective in the original iteration, and they fleshed it out. There are more alternate pathways, charging chucks zooming at you, a stunning and delectable looking visual upgrade. Yeah, it's still an oval, but I don't know, man, it's just got a better vibe to it, while looking a fair deal more fun than the original. Which, mind you, I never even hated. I still find this inclusion a tad odd just because of how out of place it is as the only 8/Tour course. But you know what? I'm intrigued and down to give it a try. Now for Peach Beach, the course that's responsible for the Cataquack being a playable racer. Thank you so much for that. I missed Cataquack like you wouldn't believe. We haven't seen a ton of footage of this course, but it does look very visually reimagined, with you even going across some shallow water with water skiing Shy Guys. I think this place looks gorgeous, and I'm definitely intrigued to see more of it. Not a whole lot else to say. I like this course already, and I'm sure I'll like a stunning reinterpretation of it. Now we got Shy Guy Bazaar, a pretty obvious pick that you'd think would have been remade by now already. No, tour doesn't count. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this one looks. I prefer it set at night, but the courses will have a day-night cycle anyway, so that's fine. Overall, the town just looks so detailed, so vibrant and alive. They kept the moving pots, that's very important considering they removed the snowmen from DK Pass. It just overall looks like a faithful HD version of the classic track we all know and love. And I especially find it so cool that they're adding a lot of Sarasaland flair to the background, finally embracing Daisy's roots. There's not a whole lot to say. This was never one of my absolute favorite courses to race on personally, and it looks like it'll still just be decent from a gameplay perspective. But I think it's a great inclusion with a ton of cool world building implications. Great stuff. Alright, now it's a party. Wario Shipyard, a course I've really grown to love over the years from Mario Kart 7. I was so excited to see this return, even though underwater driving doesn't. Very bizarre, but I have to say, racing above these turbulent, stormy waves does genuinely look incredible. The dark vibe of this course is really well captured in this updated version, and the layout seems just as fun as ever. But there's a ton of little things that are just kinda bothering me. A lot of the yellow and purple has been taken out in favor of generic shipyard colors like browns and grays. And they toned down a lot of the elevation changes that were really exciting in the 7 version. They also took out this giant fishbone mouth and replaced it with a Wario mouth. That's cute and all, but I liked how the original was going inside the fishbone and you could see its spine on the ceiling. This is kind of a sauceless cavern by comparison. The little pipe boost is completely gone, the cannon is missing its Wario sign where he's pointing at it for you to go in, and it doesn't even have a glider ramp anymore, which is so weird. I love when you glide after getting shot out of a cannon. It really sells the power of said cannon. I don't know, man. It still looks like a fun, spooky course, but it's missing a lot of the charm of the original Wario Shipyard. I don't think it's as drastic as the nerfs to, say, Koopa Cape, but I think it's kind of unlikely this is going to end up being my favorite version of the course when all is said and done. So, a recurring pattern with the retro selections in this game seems to be that there is no pattern. This is the first base roster of retro selections in the whole series that isn't beholding itself to just pick courses that have never been remade before. Figure 8 Circuit? Denied. Luigi Circuit Wii? Denied. Wario Coliseum? Yeah, somehow they still don't want anything to do with this one. That's crazy. But with that said, they still upheld their unspoken promise to bring back 2 courses that have been waiting for so long. Let's discuss the less exciting, but still pretty damn exciting one of the 2. N64 Wario Stadium. I'm honestly really happy they didn't give up on this one, which you might be surprised to hear considering how I rank this as my least favorite track from 64. I think this course is straight booty in that game. But this new version looks fun! There's tons of ramps you can now do tricks on, a stellar exciting vibe, the big jump that has flames surrounding you now. It doesn't look like the craziest course in the world, but it does look like a very fun and cool reinterpretation of a course that practically had nothing to offer originally. I've seen a lot of people complain that they've ruined this course by making it a lot shorter. And like, look, I kind of get that complaint with N64 Rainbow Road. That place was so iconic partially because of its insane length. But are you seriously trying to tell me that going on for 6 minutes is a key feature of N64 Wario Stadium? Get real. This course is actually playable now. I'm very excited to try this one out. I'm loving what I'm seeing of it, and I think the general layout, while shorter, is still very much mostly intact. This is not a Sky Garden situation in the slightest. And now for the course I'm third most excited about, Toad's Factory. I can explain. They beat the controversial allegations about an unsafe working environment, and they are back in business. It looks just as beautiful as the day I lost it. I can't believe it took this long, but it is back and the same as ever. Guys, are you starting to see why this is not the most exciting looking retro course in the game to me? Toad's Factory is perhaps the most faithful looking remake out of everything here. And that's great. This course was already a supreme banger, so it stands to reason that this version of it will also be a supreme banger. It's like they knew people were clamoring for its return, and they didn't want to mess it up by changing anything too much, so they didn't. Well, okay, I have one nitpick. I think the ramp at the very end of the course is too small now. But again, that really isn't the biggest deal in the world. This is still gonna be the first course I race on when I get my hands on the game, because I've been craving Toad's Factory longer than anything else. But in terms of which courses feel the most modernized and reimagined to fit in with the new standards of the series, I think there's a few more that are a bit more exciting looking. I'm beyond thrilled to have it back, and I'm gonna be racing on it all the time. It still looks fantastic, but it's not mind-blowing. It's just, here's that course that we should have had as a retro since 7. Very happy, but you should have given it to me sooner. And the runner-up for the most exciting looking retro course in the game to me is Airship Fortress. Much like Toad's Factory, it looks pretty much unchanged from how it plays in its iconic original form. So what makes this course, that I've already played a bunch in Mario Kart 7, even more tantalizing than a course I haven't seen since 2008? I don't know, man. This version of Airship Fortress just has more aura. The sheer number of explosion effects, the incredible look of the fortress. It's the kind of exciting, immersive race course that just makes you happy this wasn't included in the Booster Course Pass. Oh man, does this look so much better than whatever that version would have provided. While Toad's Factory looks very much like the same course again from a visual standpoint, this one just looks like a complete upgrade. Probably because this is the first time we've had Airship Fortress on a home console. I'm thrilled to have it back. It's about time. So, with the two iconic fan favorites out of the way, what do I think is the single most exciting looking retro course in Mario Kart World? This was an easy one. It's the one I just could not stop thinking about ever since I first started seeing footage of it. First, I thought this was a brand new course inspired by a classic track, until it started to come out that no, this is that classic course a lot of people know and love, just upgraded beyond my wildest expectations. They turned Dino Dino Jungle into Jurassic Park. This is incredible, and I can't believe more people aren't talking about it. My biggest complaint with the original Dino Dino Jungle is that it revolves around a whopping one dinosaur. But now, we've got at least 3. And you can drive on one of them. Holy shit. Not only that, they reimagined the temple part into a laboratory, presumably where the dinosaurs were cloned. The Jurassic Park influence could not be more evident and more thrilling. This is awesome. It feels like a real yes and to the original Dino Dino Jungle. The kind of update that I wish more course remakes in this series would try. It's not like this game's version of Choco Mountain, which kind of throws the baby out with the bathwater. This course is unmistakably Dino Dino Jungle, but with some awesome new additions that support the theme immensely. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is the most exciting retro course in the entire game to me. At least right now, before I get my hands on it. So that's the order of how excited I am for these retros. But I also wanted to talk about this selection as a whole. What I think about their placements in each cup. How well the previous games in the series are represented by the selections, and which courses I would replace in a heartbeat. I touched on some of these things throughout the ranking, but I've got a little more to add here. But first, it's time for a quick intermission. Get it? Just like the new feature in Mario Kart where you drive to the next course. It's an intermission. What a great term that Mario Kart invented and no one else uses. Anyway, Squarespace time. Squarespace is a wonderful online website builder that enables you to create beautiful websites for your business or personal hobby. I adore how easy they make it to showcase your expertise and engage clients with video content on your website. You can make stunning video libraries and even monetize your content by adding a paywall. Perfect for online courses, exclusive tutorials, and premium workshops. If you want to get discovered fast, that's where integrated Squarespace SEO tools come in. Every website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more, letting you pop up more often on search engines and attract way more customers. Squarespace also offers lots of built-in donation tools. You can create a professional, on-brand website that makes it easy to accept one-time or recurring contributions, and engage engage your supporters. Use built-in email campaigns and marketing tools to connect with your community and inspire more people to support your cause. Check out squarespace.com/ShapeRealist for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use promo code ShapeRealist to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. First of all, yeah, it is very bizarre that they're just ignoring the conventions of Shell, Banana, Leaf, and Lightning being the only cups with retro tracks. I don't think that's a giant deal though, especially after the Booster Course pass. But with that said, I still have a couple grievances. Why does the Flower Cup start and end with a DS course? Why are there 2 Wii courses in the Lightning Cup and 2 GameCube ones in the Banana Cup? Surely we would want to spread those out a bit. I also think Airship Fortress is really weird to just throw in the Flower Cup when it's previously been in Star and Lightning. This is the kind of course you want to build up to a bit. I think it would have been way more appropriate to replace it with, say, Toad's Factory. Transitioning from the industrial Wario Stadium to a literal facility of industry would make a lot more sense. And Toad's Factory is a great choice to end the first Retro Cup on. Putting that back to back with a similarly overdue N64 Wario Stadium would have been very poetic. The Star Cup is fine as is. I think they all flow pretty well together. Though, maybe if I could make one tweak, I'd put Sky High Sundae as the first course of the cup. It's probably the easiest, no? I don't know, maybe they made it harder, we'll see. Wario Shipyard is a nice one to end on at least. SNES Koopa Beach starts off the Shell Cup, nothing much to comment on there. And then we get to the Banana and Lightning Cups, which include the only 2 GameCube and only 2 Wii courses, respectively. Yeah, that's quite ridiculous to me. I feel like a lot of these weird choices were made to accommodate the layout of the open world. But if I had my say, we would move Dino Dino Jungle to the Lightning Cup where it was in 7. Particularly because Moo Moo Meadows being there is ridiculous. The baby cow course for babies? Really? Guys, don't get mad at me. I love Moo Moo Meadows. You have to believe me. But yeah, the Banana Cup makes a lot more sense for it. And considering I wanted to swap out Airship Fortress and Toad's Factory anyway, our new Lightning Cup would be Dino Dino Jungle, Choco Mountain, Airship Fortress, and Bowser's Castle. I know it sucks not ending on an Airship Fortress, but tell me it wouldn't transition perfectly into Bowser's Castle. I think it would be an amazing fit. Oh, and literally replace Mario Circuit in the Special Cup with anything else. Just anything would be a better fit. I'm not picky. So that's how I'd alter the order of the existing courses. But now let's just talk about them as a collective. I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of have somewhat negative or middling thoughts about a lot of these choices. I'm only really extremely excited for the top 4. Those being Dino Dino Jungle, Airship Fortress, Toad's Factory, and Wario Stadium. Wario Shipyard could be included in that group, but I have some reservations about a lot of its changes. And Peach Beach I just need to see more of before making a judgment call. Shy Guy Bazaar is a good choice, but not one I'm particularly that fond of. Sky High Sundae looks so much better than it did before, but it's not the best foundation. DK Pass is kind of whatever to me. I still don't know how to feel about this version of Choco Mountain. And the others I straight up don't really care for at all. I find it fascinating that there really is no central theme with how they went about remaking these courses. Some of them, like Toad's Factory and Airship Fortress, are basically the same. Some, like Dino Dino Jungle and Choco Mountain, are bold reimaginings. Some have spruced up layouts like Wario Stadium. Some keep the general layout the same but add new pathways like Sky High Sundae. And then there's the combination courses of multiple Super Mario Kart tracks within the same theme. It just kind of felt like they did whatever they felt like for any particular course. Whatever best made it fit into the world as a whole. And while I'm sure it'll work while I'm playing it, I'm not gonna lie, I was generally more impressed with how every single course seemed to be updated in Mario Kart 8's base roster of retros. You'd think the series would keep getting better at updating retros as it goes along, but I'm not really seeing that here. Some of these courses look the same, or even a bit worse. I'm not talking about graphics, obviously they all look incredible. I just mean from a gameplay perspective. I'm not seeing anything as crazy as what Anti-Gravity 8 brought to the table. Speaking of anti-gravity, the lack of it probably ties into the fact that no Mario Kart 8 courses are returning. I don't really mind that personally though. I feel like a lot of people would agree considering just how long we've had Mario Kart 8. And you can always just play the courses in Mario Kart 8 on the Switch too. Weirdly enough though, there's not a single course from Super Circuit returning. which is genuinely shocking to me. Did they just forget? Did they figure adding a ton of them to the booster course pass would excuse them from having to do any here? I feel like there's a lot of super circuit courses that would fit in very nicely in this interconnected world. Lakeside Park and Cheap Cheap Island come to mind immediately, and they've never been remade outside of Tour. The same is true for Yoshi Desert. Wait, that would have been so much better as the first track of the Flower Cup instead of Desert Hills. Or, this would have been such an easy slam dunk, bring back Sunset Wilds in a game where the sun actually sets on every course. It's built into the engine this time. It was so obvious. Going through the selections from every other game for a bit, starting with Super Mario Kart, I think Koopa Beach was a solid choice, but I would have so much rather had a reimagining of the Choco Islands or Vanilla Lakes instead of fucking Mario Circuit. Unbelievable. A complete waste of space, just like it was in the Booster Course Pass and Wii. I genuinely would have rather had Figure 8 Circuit, you guys. Now for the N64, if we're restricting ourselves to just having 2 courses like what's in the game currently, obviously Wario Stadium should be one of them. But I think Calamari Desert or Moo Moo Farm would have been preferable over this bizarro version of Choco Mountain. Maybe even DK's Jungle Parkway or Banshee Boardwalk. Just something that wasn't in the Booster Course Pass already. I know Calamari Desert was, but it gets special treatment. Sorry. Double Dash. Okay, this is a whole smorgasbord of courses that probably should have made it in. I think Peach Beach and Dino Dino Jungle are good selections, and it has been a long time since we've seen either of them. But surely this is where the rule of never been remade before should have prevailed. I know Wario Coliseum will be the 3rd Wario course in the game, so maybe they want to ease up on that a bit. But Mushroom City in free roam would have been genuinely incredible. We do have Crown City, yes, but that's already taking up 2 slots anyway, and why can't there be 2 cities in this vast, fully explorable world? Mushroom City already has a ton of pathways that would be perfect for exploring, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. Next time, baby. So of all games, the one with the most retro tracks is DS with 3. Oh, so it's all bangers, right? No. Sorry to harp on this again, but I'm not particularly a big fan of Desert Hills and DK Pass. They make sense to be here, it's been a while, yada yada yada. But again, Desert Hills is pretty much replaceable by any other desert course. If we want to restrict ourselves to just DS courses though, I think the most insane omission from this lineup has to be Delfino Square. It hasn't been seen since Wii, and it's literally a town that you can explore. That would be so incredible in free roam and not redundant compared to any other course. Okay, maybe it's a little similar to Peach Beach thematically, but Peach Beach was also in Wii. It didn't stop them there. Aside from that, I think Shroom Ridge would have fit in pretty nicely with the style of gameplay they're going for. But I won't officially say it should have been in, since it was in the Booster Course Pass already, and it's not the funny Wahoo Desert Train course. Maybe you could make an argument for Boston Building, but we already have some spooky courses, plus Boston is a real-life location, so it wouldn't really fit in the Mushroom Kingdom. Now for the only 2 Wii courses. I was pissed off when there was only 2 in Mario Kart 8, and one of them was Moo Moo Meadows. Then I grew to love Moo Moo Meadows over the years, and here I am again, pissed off that one of only 2 Wii courses is Moo Moo Meadows. This is kind of inexcusable. Again, I have to ask, do we really love this track? Or do we love that the thumbnail has a funny cow on it? I personally do not need to race on Moo Moo Meadows again for like 20 more years. The obvious Wii pick to go alongside Toad's Factory would be Dry Dry Ruins, since it missed out on the Booster Course Pass. Driving freely through this pyramid would rule! And since Moo Moo Meadows threw out the rulebook on cutting in line in front of other courses who have been waiting longer, fuck it, why not just bring back Coconut Mall instead? Can you imagine how incredible it would be to free roam in Coconut Mall? If not that, then DK Summit, Moonview Highway, Koopa Cape, Daisy Circuit, Maple Treeway. I just feel like I'm going insane. Moo Moo Meadows cannot seriously be this popular and influential, right? Genuinely, tell me in the comments, do you guys love racing on this course more than practically any other in Wii? Or do you just love the cow thumbnail? Anyway, 7. I honestly don't have any notes with this one. Shy Guy Bazaar and Wario Shipyard were entirely appropriate and deserved choices. We're never gonna get the Woohoo Island courses back though, are we? Free roam on Woohoo Island! Can you imagine? Okay, sorry, I'll shut up. Finally, Tour. Again, this is really weird, and I feel like the most obvious choice, aside from, say, Ninja Hideaway, would have been the one that never made it into Mario Kart 8. Piranha Plant Pipeline. Hello, remember that? I guess it is kind of enclosed and wouldn't really suit free roam all that well. But like, dude, you should have put it in the booster course pass then. Whatever, I guess we'll see it in another 11 years. Overall, I just don't think this is that great a roster of retros. I didn't necessarily feel like the initial Mario Kart 8 group of retros was all that great on paper either, but they looked great in terms of the new gameplay additions that game brought to the table. I just haven't really seen that much about these retros that really wows me outside of a couple standouts like Dino Dino Jungle, or just the insane aura that comes from some of these picks like Toad's Factory. I am incredibly excited for the awesome looking new courses though. I can't wait to find some new favorites. But I do feel like this overall retro selection is weaker than both 8 and 7s with all its fan favorites in play. At the very least, this lineup absolutely demolishes DS and probably Wii. I don't know though, we did have DK Mountain, Peach Gardens, Delfino Square, and Waluigi Stadium. I don't know, I'll get back to this debate after I actually play these new retros. So those are my current thoughts on these classic tracks and how they look. Let me know if you want more Mario Kart videos in the lead up to this game's release, or if the countless videos I'm gonna drop after the game launches will be enough. Good night, Toad's Factory.